Alright, this stack is even bigger, so I'm just gonna separate some of this stuff out. So if you guys think I talked about Megadeth enough, you just wait. So starting with Kill 'Em All. Everyone knows this album. I think it's great. Favorite song on here is easily Phantom Lord. I've been listening to No Remorse a lot as well, and it's also great. And really everything off this album is awesome. I mean, this might be the first thrash metal album of all time. I think it's definitely a contender. So yeah, Kill 'Em All by Metallica. Everyone knows it. Everyone loves it. Next up, we have my favorite album of all time is Ride the Lightning. And the reason it's my favorite album of all time is because there are a lot of good goddamn songs on this thing. Eventually, when I get a new computer, I do want to get more into really editing my videos and making them not as bad as these are. But yeah, that's later. This is my favorite album of all time. Fight Fire with Fire is the greatest thrash metal song of all time, if you ask me, and I will explain why later, but yeah. From the Bell Tolls is the first Metallica song I heard. Everything about Creeping Death is perfect. Call of Cthulhu really grew on me, like, overnight, pretty much. Fade to Black is great. I love Trapped Under Ice is really good. Escape, I don't hate the song, but I don't love it. I had to kind of rethink what I thought of every song on this album, so if you have me rank Ride the Lightning, Escape is at the bottom, just because it got beat out by pretty much everything else. Next up is my favorite album cover of all time, Master of Puppets. This is just Ride the Lightning on crack. It is amazing. I love everything about this, and I do own this album on vinyl, and I put it in a frame because it is my favorite album cover of all time. So yeah. It also has my favorite Metallica song, the thing that should not be on here, which is killer. I mean, I could do a whole video on Master of Puppets. Damage Incorporated is my back patch on my battle vest, so yeah. Probably gonna record that video tonight as well. I'm gonna make a few videos for you guys tonight. So yeah, good luck. Have fun with those. Next up is a definite fan favorite, And Justice for All. This album just, you can tell that they were pissed off about Cliff dying, which rightfully so. Yeah. And then it also introduced Jason Newsted to the band. Blackened is one of the best, is my second favorite opening Metallica song. Fight Fire with Fire is number one. And Justice for All, the title track, it's probably my least favorite on the album, just because I'm not the most familiar with it. What do you want? What? What? Hi. Please don't knock those up. Hi. Yeah. Obviously, it has one. I Have the Beholder is amazing. To Live Is to Die is one of my favorite instrumentals. Frayed Ends of Sanity. Dyer's Eve, I love it. So yeah, you gotta move, buddy. Move. Go. Go that way. Thank you. Yeah. And next up, the Black Album. I don't know how well you can see the snake or the logo, but yeah. We all know this album. It's great. It really is great. I love it. It's not the worst. Obviously, Enter Sandman, I've heard plenty of times. Sad But True is great. Holier Than Thou, Unforgiven. Wherever I May Roam is my favorite song off this album, and it's one of my top 5 Metallica songs. Yeah. This is just really solid. James's voice sounds the best. The drums sound the best. I love the guitar tones. This is definitely, you gotta own this if you're a metal fan. Next up, we have Load. Pretty good album. I have nothing bad to say about it. Very, very middle of the road. King Nothing is my favorite song on this album, and it's awesome. So yeah, I very much recommend this as well. It's great. Next up, Reload. This is an original pressing that I got from a record store for like $4. I didn't even know it was an original, but it was definitely cool to find out. Fixer is easily my favorite song on this album. What are you whining about, dog? Is it because I'm not giving you attention? Here, you can have a treat. Go get it. Yeah, it's yours. It's all yours. Next up is another original pressing, S&M. This is one of the only live Metallica albums I own. And there's disc 1, and then disc 2. There it is. So yeah, a lot of great stuff on here. I prefer this one to S&M 2, but it's because I've heard this more, and I love it. Yeah, it has Call of Cthulhu, Master of Puppets, A Wolf and Man, Thing That Should Not Be, Fuel, Memory Remains, No Leaf Clover, Hero of the Day, Devil's Dance, Bleeding, Nothing Else Matters. I don't know what that is. I'm just reading of this off the back. So yeah, great album. Check it out if you haven't. It's Metallica with the San Francisco Orchestra. It's great. Next up, Saint Anger. Yes, I own it. No, I don't really like this album. It's okay. I'll definitely they should just put out like a live every song on this album live, and just sell that, because I've seen YouTube videos of Metallica play this live, and it sounds so much better, especially recently. Yeah, I do like the guy on there. That's pretty cool. That whole the whole art style, Saint Anger at the time was really cool. Next up, the album I know the least amount of, Death Magnetic. The Day That Never Comes is my favorite song on this album because I saw it live and it kicked ass, so yeah. Also, this is pretty cool what it does with the booklet. It's a coffin, but it's 3-dimensional, so it opens up and does that. I'm too worried about ripping the pages to do it all, otherwise I would. Yeah, it's great. I love it. But I really need to go back to this album and give it more. What? Next up, Hardwired to Self-Destruct. I have a lot of nostalgia with this because it's one of the first CDs I bought. It was probably one of the first 10. Yes, sir. Where's your bone? Go that way. Find your toy. Find whatever. Find your stuff. There's the band. And then again, it's 2 discs. I don't know why. It's like a gatefold vinyl, but it's on CD and it's really small. And it's basically what... I might get a thumbnail shot with this. It's basically all of these. It's like these are all like mini vinyls, and I don't know. I don't know if I like them or not. But next up could be one of the worst packaging I've ever seen for an album, or the coolest. I really don't know. But it's a great album. That album is 72 Seasons by Metallica, of course. This is their latest album. I didn't buy this right away when it came out. It took me a few months to buy it. But the reason why I don't know how I feel about the packaging is there's a front, just says 72 Seasons, Metallica. You got James, of course, Kirk, Robert, Lars, and then the lyrics fall out. But then there's the disc, of course. So yeah. This album, I think, is awesome. You almost have to memorize how to put it back, otherwise it does bad on the bottom, but I do not have that memorized. But I think this album is absolutely amazing, and I think I love it. I love it even more because I saw them on this tour in Chicago. So yeah. Next up might be my favorite CD of all time. Go, sir. You're fine. You're fine, boy. You're fine, buddy. This is Metallica live in Chicago, Illinois, August 11th, 2024. Now, the reason I love this thing is because there's the inside. The CDs are here. But what I was saying is the reason I love this album, or I love this, this was my first ever concert, and this is always going to mean something to me. It had an amazing set list. Whiplash, Bells, Ride the Lightning, Until It Sleeps, Lux Eterna, Screaming Suicide. Kirk and Rob played Just One Fix by Ministry, which is a band I haven't listened to. I've known about them for years, but I just never really listened to them. Yeah. The Day That Never Comes, Wherever I May Roam, Call of Cthulhu, The Unforgiven, Inamorata, Fight Fire with Fire, Moth in a Flame, One, Enter Sandman. This is an amazing set, and I couldn't be happier I was there. This was in Soldier Field, and I don't know how many of you guys are from there, but it goes up, 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 and up. But then there's just it's a football field, so this one half is just all box seats, but then there's another half higher up that's just seats. We were in the higher up, just seats area, and the thing that makes Fight Fire with Fire my favorite thrash song of all time is I saw James walk up onto stage, pretty much looking in my direction, starting the song with just the light on him. You like this story, don't you? Just on him doing the intro of it, and I realized then that this was Metallica, and I was seeing James Hetfield, which I know is a stupid thing to say because I was at a Metallica show, but this really cemented Metallica as who they really are. Oh, you knocked it over. It's okay, buddy. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not mad at you. Okay, you gotta go that way. You gotta go that way. I gotta do this. I gave you dinner. I fed you and took you outside. All right, next up is one of my other favorite bands of all time. If you couldn't tell, Metallica is my favorite, but this is also one of my other favorites. Okay, go that way. Thank you. Play with that ball. This is Motorhead's first album. Pretty much a punk album, just with long songs. I love this thing. Motorhead, Vibrator, Lost Johnny, Iron Horse, White Line Fever, Keep Us on the Road, The Watcher, Train Kept Rolling. It has a bunch of B-side songs that they recorded at the time, and then some live stuff. This is the 40th anniversary edition, and it's great. Next up is my favorite rock album of all time, Overkill. This is a remastered version, and in here, sir, is the album, but here is Motorhead live in Ellsbury at that time in 1979. It's a great live album. I've listened to it a lot. So yeah, Overkill, my favorite rock album of all time. Next up, Overkill's brother, Bomber. I think this is amazing. Very much more chill than Overkill, but it's still great. And all these, bunch of these Motorhead ones, it talks about the album at the time, what they were up to pretty much. This also has album, and then I don't really think I've listened to this. This is Sharpshooter live at La Rotonde La Mans 1979. So yeah, it's great. I love Bomber. Then of course the essential Motorhead listening, Ace of Spades. If you haven't heard this album, what are you doing? You've heard the title track at least 15 times today. So yeah, of course, title track, Love Me Like a Reptile, Shoot You in the Back, Live to Win, Fast and Loose, We Are the Road Crew, Fire, Jailbait Dance, Bite the Bullet and Chase is Better Than the Catch the Hammer. All of these songs fucking murder. This is just speed metal at its finest. This is really just one of the greatest metal albums ever, honestly. There's a lot of Motorhead albums I love, and this is among them. My favorite Motorhead album are 7 of their albums. We've already gone through 2. Next up is my favorite live album of all time, No Sleep Till Hammersmith. If you've heard this album, you probably know why. It sounds great. It sounds amazing. And it does come with another live album, live at Newcastle City Hall in 1981. I've also heard that one too. It's great. It's got a bunch of great songs that aren't on the original. So yeah, if you're looking for a good live album, No Sleep Till Hammersmith. And this really cemented me. I like it live over studio when it's done right, because there's a lot of shitty bootlegs out there, but this does it right. So yeah, all the songs from Bomber that are on here sound so much better. I don't hate Bomber's mixing, but it's too clean for Motorhead. Next up, an album that I like, again, Iron Fist. This one kind of makes me sad because it's the last one they had with Fast Eddie Clarke, the original guitarist and really one of my favorite guitar players. There's the album. And then another live album, Live at Glasgow Apollo, 1982. So yeah, it's great. Don't get me wrong. Iron Fist, Heart of Stone, I'm the Doctor, Go to Hell, Loser, Sex and Outrage, America, Shut It Down, Speed Freak, Don't Let Them Grind You Down, Don't Need Religion, Right to Bang, Remember Me, I'm Gone are all great. My favorite song on here is easily Don't Let Them Grind You Down. Next up, Another Perfect Day. Great album. It's good, but I don't think Brian Robertson fit well in Motorhead. So yeah, it's great. Back at the Funny Farm, my favorite song on this album. It's all great, really. But it doesn't quite feel as insane as other Motorhead albums do feel. So yeah. Next up, another one of my favorite Motorhead albums. And this has my favorite guitar solos on any Motorhead album. It is Orgasmatron, and I love this album cover. This is, on the back here, this is the Deaf Forever single artwork that they had. I will show you guys. Yeah, I love this album cover. It's one of my favorites. I really gone back to this album and appreciate it a lot more. Love Deaf Forever, Ain't My Crime Claw, Nothing Up My Sleeve. This whole album is great. And then Orgasmatron is one of my favorite Motorhead songs of all time. Next up, was my favorite at one time, but now that I've heard so much more, there's so many more favorites and just so many more good things. March or Die. I know a lot of people don't like this album because of how commercial it sounds or whatever, but I love it. It's great. Really great cover of Cat Scratch Fever by Ted Nugent on there. Really is amazing. Hellraiser is one of my favorite Motorhead songs of all time. It's one of the early ones I heard, and it's just amazing. This might be the thumbnail. So yeah, I love March or Die. It's great. I don't care. If you got a problem with it, you can go home. This is another original pressing. I think I'm keeping track of all of them. We Are Motorhead. This is pretty much, if you asked me to sum up what Motorhead is like, I would give you this album and say, listen to it and then give it back to me. Why'd you try and eat a fly? And this is pretty much, this covers every corner of Motorhead. Sir? So yeah. Love this thing. It's great. Not my favorite. Not amongst my favorite, but it's up there. Actually, it might be. Next up is a contender for my favorite Motorhead album out of the 7 that I love. Inferno. This is when they got their heaviest. No questions asked. This is from 2004. This came out a year before I was born, and it kills. Inferno is one of my favorites. Terminal Show, it just opens up right, just punch you in the face. Killers is just awesome. In the Name of Tragedy is easily my favorite song on here. Life's a Bitch, Down on Me, In the Black, Fight, In the Year of the Wolf, Keys to the Kingdom. I remember in high school, I worked in a kitchen as a line cook, and that day it just sucked for me. And then Keys to the Kingdom came on, and instantly my day was brighter. So that's just the power of Motorhead. Smelling Like a Killer, it's great. And then Whorehouse Blues, the ballad on here, it's just a straight up blues song. It's great. So yeah, and then to finish off Motorhead, seriously, Bad Magic. I was about to buy Bad Magic on CD when they announced when they put out Bullet in Your Brain, which was a song they recorded but never put out on Bad Magic. And then they put out Greedy Bastards, which is the song Till the End, but with different lyrics to be about hatred for politics. Hey, buddy, get away from that. Get away from that. What was I saying? It's the song Till the End, but they changed the lyrics. And then it also has Motorhead live at Mount Fuji, which shows Motorhead at the very end in 2015. And It's a great live album. There it is. 40 years Motorhead went strong, and they couldn't top. This was their last album, of course, before Lemmy died, and wow, this dog knocked over my phone. It flung his ball and knocked over. Get away! Go away! Get. And what was I? This was their last album before Lemmy died, of course, which you should all. And they couldn't have gone out on a higher note. So yeah, Motorhead is my second favorite band of all time. So yeah, all right. Down the last stack. Still gonna probably ramble because these are a lot of great bands in here. First up is one of my favorite albums of all time, Cowboys from Hell. Can I? Okay. Okay, whatever. Title track, of course, Primal Concrete Sledge. I know this whole album front to back pretty much. It's awesome. You got that photo Phil and Selma on there. That's just so cool. Domination, of course, everyone knows that one. Psycho Holiday, Heresy, Cemetery Gates, Shattered, Clash with the Audi. A lot of songs people don't talk about on here, but a few songs everybody knows. So, yeah, definitely give this a listen. I have a lot of nostalgia with this one. Next up, an album I don't have much nostalgia with, but it's still great. Vulgar Display of Power. I've listened to this all the way through, I think 3 or 4 times. I did have this on a t-shirt until very recently, where I moved and went through all my clothes and decided that it's been through the wash so many times. I've worn it so much, it's faded, it's crappy, so left it with my parents. So yeah. And, oh, yeah. If I don't like the album, why did I get a shirt of it? Just look at the album cover and tell me, and ask yourself that. So yeah. Obviously, this has Walk, and I've heard it enough times. New Level is great. Fucking Hostile, Mouth for War, This Love, Rise, No Good, Live in a Hole, Regular People, Demons Be Driven, and Hollow. These are all great songs, so don't get me wrong. It's a great album, but I just need to listen to it more. I think this is, I don't know, this is not an original. I was wrong. Far Beyond Driven. This is great. I love this album. Strength Beyond Strength, Becoming, 5 Minutes Alone. The song Use My Third Arm. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Let me go. So yeah, I'll show you guys. This is also pretty cool. So you got the booklet. Opens. And then so here's all the lyrics, and I'm gonna go through till I find Use My Third Arm. Yeah, Use My Third Arm. That is a great song. I just had to remember what it was. But then it opens up, and this is really cool. So yeah. Originally, they had a butthole being drilled into, but they got told no, so it had to be a skull, which I'm fine with. I have seen what the original album cover looks like. It's okay. Or is it a woman? I don't remember. No, it's a butthole. But yeah, Far Beyond Driven. It's great. Next up, we have either Cowboys from Hell or this one is my favorite Pantera album, The Great Southern Trendkill. Relentless, brutal, does not stop. One of the best albums of the 90s. Listen to it. That's all I'm going to say. It's just, you have to listen to it to love it. This is an original press, and it's Pantera Live 101. Great live album. And this is really cool. This sticker, this is a merch slip, which you could basically say what you wanted. You could write down on the back what of these items you wanted, write down your address, and send it in an envelope with the money, and they would ship it to you. And The photo behind them with just Dimebag in it is from when they played Monsters of Rock in Moscow to over 1 million people. So yeah, this isn't that show. This is sometime during Trendkill, and it has 2 songs on here that are never not on any other Pantera album, and it's Where You Come From and I Can't Hide, which are great songs. Next up, Reinventing the Steel. I've listened to this album all the way through one time, and it depresses me, honestly, because this was the last Pantera album, and I love this band. I really do, and I don't give a fuck what anyone says about Pantera. Are they racist? No, they're from the South. And you're dumb if you think they were, and I will defend Pantera forever. Am I agreeing with Phil Anselmo doing the Sieg Heil? Fuck no. Was that messed up? A little bit, yes. I guess it was messed up. But anyways, next up is another contender for my favorite band of all time. And this all starts with their first EP, Sepultura, Bestial Devastation. Or is it Morbid Visions? It's both. This is a I think these are the remasters from like 97, I think, but yeah, that have just been kept getting repressed forever. Yeah, Morbid Visions. Of course, I got the original, and this original Bestial Devastation cover is also amazing because the demon looks so stupid. You have Sepultura 1.0. Morbid Visions, Mayhem, Troops of Doom, War, Crucifixion, Show Me the Wrath, Funeral Rites, Empire of the Damned, The Curse, Bestial Devastation, Antichrist, Necromancer, Warriors of Death. And then it has Necromancer demo version, which that version of Necromancer was the very first thing Sepultura ever recorded. And then it has Anti-Cop, which is Antichrist, but the lyrics were rewritten to bash the police because they almost fucked them up, basically. You can find that story online. I'm not about to tell it here. Next up is Schizophrenia. A lot of people prefer this over Morbid Visions. I don't know, really. I remember when Cavalera Conspiracy put out Escape to the Void re-recorded, and I listened to that and the day it came out, and then I re-listened to Schizophrenia that day as well. Also listened to Beneath the Remains that day, but yeah, this is amazing. From the Past Comes the Storms has one of my favorite intro riffs ever. To the Wall, Escape to the Void, Inquisition Symphony is awesome. Screams Behind the Shadows, Septic Schizo, The Abyss, Rest in Pain, a re-recorded version of Troops of Doom. That sounds great, but I prefer the original. Yeah, I love Schizophrenia. It's great. Next up, Beneath the Remains. Beneath the Remains is the first Sepultura song I ever heard. So this album means a lot to me, and I've been listening to more songs after this a lot more. Beneath the Remains is amazing. I love it. Inner Self, I love the lyrics to it. Stronger Than Hate, Mass Hypnosis, Slaves of Pain, Sarcastic Existence, Lobotomy, Hungry, Primitive Future, Ahura. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Just some bonus tracks. And then Inner Self drum tracks, Mass Hypnosis drum tracks. It's great. I love Beneath the Remains, but they basically took Morbid Visions, upgraded it to Schizophrenia, and then took Beneath the Remains and upgraded it to my second favorite Sepultura album, Arise. This is one of my favorite thrash metal, death metal, call it whatever genre you want. It's among my favorites in that genre. Title track has one of my favorite riffs of all time. Hey buddy, hey buddy, hey buddy. Dead Embryonic Cells has my favorite breakdown of all time. Desperate Cry is fucking killer. Murder just gets me going. Subtraction I love. Altered State is great. Under Siege, Meaningless Movies, Infected Voice is great. And then this is the remastered version, so it has, from the Dead Embryonic Cells single that they put out, it has Orgasmatron, which is a cover of that Motorhead song, which I heard, the first Sepultura song I really heard was the Orgasmatron cover, and it was great. It also has Intro, which they played at the start of their shows during the Arise tour, Criminals in Uniform, Now that I think about it, it could be a cover, but I haven't seen anything else saying it's a cover, but I'm not sure. Hey, get away from that. Dog. And then has Desperate Cry, Scott Burns mix, which if you know anything about Scott Burns, he's a great death metal producer. Hi, yeah, I'm almost done. Next up we have, this is an original pressing, Chaos AD. Refuse Resist is one of my favorite Sepultura songs. Territory is great. Slave New World I love. Biotech is Godzilla is just fun. So yeah. OG copy. Gotta have. Next up. Sit. Okay, fine. Is Roots. Now this is my favorite Sepultura album, and I know a lot of people are confused by that, but I think this is just a culmination of everything Max Cavalera, Andreas Kisser, Igor Cavalera, and Paulo Jr. did. And it's just kind of it has elements of just everything Sepultura is into it, even the early stuff, which you can hear in the aggression of this album. Roots Bloody Roots is my favorite Sepultura song. If you can't tell, for some reason, I love the intro songs on Sepultura albums. I don't know why. Attitude is awesome. I love Cutthroat. Rada Mahada is goofy as fuck, and I love it for that. Breed Apart's great. Straight Hate I love. Spit, Look Away, and Dusted are good, but once I get to like past Straight Hate, I kind of fall. I kind of like want to be done almost, just because I'm not too much of a fan of long albums, and this has 15 songs. And then Born Stubborn, it really picks back up. That's one of my favorite songs. Yasuko, however you say that, is just very calm. It's kind of just the calm after this, in between the storm. Isiatari, Ambush, Endangered Species, and Dictator shit. It all picks back up. So yeah, this is my favorite Sepultura album, easily. Then the final album, Slayer Show No Mercy. This is some people's favorite Slayer album, not mine, but I get the hype. It's why I think people love this album for the same reason Bonded by Blood is so beloved, which is my favorite Exodus album, which I don't own yet. But yeah, Show No Mercy is great. I love it. Evil Has No Boundaries, The Antichrist, Die by the Sword, Fight Till the Death, Metal, Storm Face the Slayer, Black Magic, Tormentor, Final Command, Cryonics, Show No Mercy. I love this. It's great. Very raw, very Slayer. So yeah, that's the CD collection, and I only did it in like 40, 50 minutes. So yeah, definitely gonna be getting more CDs sometime down the line, but I gotta make sure the rent's paid and the bills are paid, because I'm an adult now. So yeah, don't know how many more CDs I'm gonna be buying in the future, but I'm definitely gonna keep the collection growing, and essentially I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna kind of try and finish up bands that I've started right now. Like, I want to finish up Motorhead. I want to get more Sepultura and start Soulfly collecting. But it's a lot of money, so we'll see. And I will definitely be back with another video. I might do another one after this, but I'll see you guys later.